If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Saemi. I was a former financial journalist turned media and communication scholar. Currently, I am in this really weird transitional period where I am in South Korea working in a lot of different new projects, and I will keep you updated on my future plans as well. But for now, as this month marks my 5th month since my graduation of my master's degree at the London School of Economics, I am in a reflective mood, and I would like to share 3 reasons why I think my master's degree was worth it, and 3 other reasons why I don't think my master's degree was worth it. Before starting this video, I would like to emphasize that grad school experience is very subjective. It varies depending on the person, depending on the time that you went to that school. So I just wanted to throw that out first, and let's dive into my first reason why I thought my master's degree was worth it. So number 1, it was my dream come true. So what do I mean by this? Living in London was one of the dreams that I've always had. I've wanted to live in that city at least once in my lifetime, and also attending London School of Economics. It was my dream school, and so it was a dream city combined by my dream school. So that was already a big enough reason why I was confident enough that I would put a stop on my broadcasting career and go back to the academia after working for about 10 years. Yeah, so that was a huge decision to make for sure. But for those of you who are more interested in my thought processes and my experiences behind how I made that decision, then go check out that video. It talks about more of my faith-based journey of how I ended up going to London for this period of my life, seeking God's guidance throughout this journey. Now 2, London is a financial global hub. So as a financial journalist, it was very important that I experience this global financial hub. And I knew that this kind of opportunity doesn't happen frequently, and when the opportunity comes, I needed to take it. And it was a whole new opportunity where I could meet new people. I knew that London School of Economics was consisted of 30% UK students and 70% non-UK students. And I was really excited to get back to that very international setting where it's very culturally diverse and so many people have different really interesting backgrounds with their professional work experiences. Despite the very long 3-month national lockdown during my studies, I was able to make really special connections with a number of my colleagues, professors, as well as I built a lifelong friendships. So there will still be many occasions where I would go back to London to visit my friends, for example. So in that aspect, I can't regret the decision that I have made to go to London, even though I had to quit my job to do so. Now, number 3, I really was able to expand my horizon and have a new perspective that I've never had before. So during my 4th year of my undergraduate years, I decided to move to Berlin for my study abroad program as a DAAD scholar. As my worldview until I moved to Berlin was just this: US and Asia. That's it. And the moment I landed in Germany, I was able to hear the news coming from all these different countries around Europe, and not only Europe, Africa. And that was a very rude awakening that, wow, the world is indeed big. I did not even have that curiosity to know more about other parts of the world. So with my master's in the UK, in London, it was actually another level of awakening and realization. For example, I was fully able to appreciate the importance of history, and especially rural history, how the nuances of power relations among powerful nations over the less powerful operate. Also, a history of my own country, South Korea, where we were under colonization of other countries, and we're still technically at war. And once again, I experienced something new about my own identity, cultural identity. And I realized that this is something that I would struggle with until the day I die, because, I carry a rather unusual upbringing where I wasn't only raised in a one specific a region or a country, but I've lived across many different regions of the world, and I can't just give a simple answer when someone asks me where you're from. And now, here are the reasons why my master's wasn't so worth it. Number one, changes in higher education. Now, because my last experience of academia was 10 years ago, I was kind of oblivious about the current higher education systems. And I also expected a similar experience, the one that I had from my undergraduate for my master's. So in the beginning, when I made a decision to pursue my master's, I was very excited that I was getting into my dream school, and I would experience these dreams that I've kept for a very, very long time, right? But what I have learned is that dreams oftentimes include fantasies. There are certain elements that you are creating in your head, and you're filled with these ideas that are too idealistic in some ways. So your reality may not always translate exactly the way you had imagined in your head. Second reason why my master's degree was not so worth it was because of the complication that came with seeking employment after my master's program. Now, for example, I get a lot of questions regarding seeking employment after my master's program and whether the institution was helpful in that way. I didn't particularly find the institution to be helpful with my employment per se. I had to be the one to go out very actively to attend all the coffee chat sessions with the alumni or making connections on the internet, continue to seek new opportunities by sending out cold emails, sending out cold messages. It was a lot of work that I needed to do on my own. Although there are support that is available through the Career Services Center and LSE Life and whatnot. These things don't automatically come to you. You have to work for it. And also maybe because when I was studying, it was during the full-on pandemic, I wish that I had a lot more concrete help from the institution, but I didn't. Now, the second reason why I think my master's wasn't so worth it was because I used up almost all my savings for tuition and living. Now, getting a master's degree costs a lot of money unless you plan the application well ahead of time
and seek external funding opportunities. For example, a lot of UK universities for masters, there aren't that many scholarships available for international students. Most of the cases, UK masters are self-funded. So if you are seeking financial assistance, you have to go out and look for your country's own government funding or apply for Chevening scholarship.
Now, if you check out that video where I explain sort of my timeline of applying to my master's program, you would notice that my application was submitted kind of late in the year, and I ended up missing all the deadline for scholarships. So after all, it was a very, very expensive investment for my own self and for my own experiences. But I don't regret doing it all because I have that experience. Now I get to do a lot of, new things, and these experiences have made who I am today. And I do not regret being who I am today. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I've shared 3 reasons why my master's degree was worth it and why it wasn't. And overall, I have no regrets about my decisions and choices, but it definitely was an extremely difficult time for me to tackle all the financial, mental, challenges. There were times that I really struggled and it was not healthy, and that is part of the reasons why I decided to come back to South Korea for the time being after my master's, because I'm able to work remotely, and that's what enables me to do a lot of new projects where I get to interview a lot of different people all over the world. But definitely financial stability is also a very important factor to consider, especially if you're thinking about going to a master's. Making a decision about grad school is a big decision in life. and I really hope that you make the right decision for your own circumstances and for your own experiences. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and I'll come back in the next video.